So I recorded all these 10 this and put on YouTube for you to revisit in case you need it. So let's look into what Sri Aurobindo said on the Varnas, on their meanings first. We start straight from the most important. I will project them. Here is the file. So he analyzed the meanings of the Varnas or the Aksharas in a very simple way. So ka, kha, ga, gha. And you see there is no nga, cha, cha, jha, ja, jha, and there is no nya. Why? Because these are always following their varga. Yeah? Nasal, which is following varga. There are no words starting with nga or nya. Or na, for that matter. So even na is not can. So these are not independent sounds. That's why he doesn't deal with them as, because they're always adjusted in accordance with the position of nasal sound. So ka, kha, ga, gha. So since they belong to this back tongue, a varga, yeah, so that ka, kha, ga, gha, nga, ha, ha, the whole back tongue gutturals, so kantyas, they would have that imprint of the most general significance of, as Sri Aurobindo says, for a absolute existence, that which carries. This is the carrier of all the sounds. Being in its simplicity, it's a very simple being in a way, without any idea of further idea of modification or quality, mere or initial being, creative of space. This is what it is. So it's a blank page, or it's the white color, as it were. So the whole Varga would have that most general significance. Ka as a possession, mastery, creation, action in the most general way. What possession means, that you are what you are, yes, what it is. So to say, it's quite interesting. You can see the suffix ka is used often: putra, putraka, pustaka, pustika, balaka, balika. So this ka suffix also has a most general significance, putting the word into the perspective of being closer, more intimate. If you say putrakah, it means like my dear son in English. Yeah? So English doesn't have those suffixes. Russian has many suffixes. Ukrainian, Slavic languages, or Italian, yeah, they have these diminishing, very intimate suffixes, and ka is one of those. Also, ka, if you take ka, you would see that it is already an attack, an invasion, because of this ka. Yeah? It has something to do with this friction or aspiration, which is broken touch, back tongue. So it will be insistent, attrition, detrition. From here will khanati, as digging the hole in the, yeah? Or kha as the space in general, is some kind of sukha, dukkha, these khas, yes?
Ritesh, can I ask one thing, please?
Yeah, please, go
So,
ahead.
this just wanted to know that when we have ka and kha, since the source and the sparsha are similar, other than the breath, is there no qualitative similarity also in the experiential effect that they generate? So I'm just trying to see, like, yeah.
Yeah, this is a good question. By the way, you see, Sri Aurobindo everywhere gives that what you said, mentioned, except with ka and kha for some reason. So kha has that. If ka is more like possession and mastery, you're holding, creating, acting, then ka is already attacking. It's not just having it, it's already kind of actively having it, or invading, yeah? Because of this which is not simple it is not ha, It's not like gha. It is kha. It is that attrition, detrition, that kind of very whoosh here. That whoosh. That
So because I'm wondering what that guttural h does in certain languages, like include, I mean, the Arabic languages, of course, and then you also have the Dutch languages that have a lot of the guttural h,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
the r of the French is very close, but there is a roll in it. So it's very interesting. And that Sanskrit doesn't have that.
Well, it has it,
Sanskrit
but
doesn't have.
it doesn't do anything with it separately.
Uh,
Like does not emphasize your
uh, uh,
attention on it on h. Yeah, we have h, and visarga is h, nothing else. But yeah,
uh,
narach karoti. That is that h, and then now it is naraha karoti. This is not ha. It is h actually. But yes, but it's a mannerism in which we speak today. Uh, right, and h and r was there also in the Rig Pratishakya, as we mentioned. R. So Rig Pratishakya, Rig Pratishakya is putting it in this way: a, ri, e. So we have a, r, e. This is the order of vowels, which is absolutely unimaginable, because it's totally different in Taitiria later. So Rik Pratishakya, which is the oldest, 800 BC, the first treatment of sounds and Sanskrit language, is actually mentioning this r, velar sound, which you are mentioning as French, h, r. Actually, it is through Frenchies I understood the shift which took place, because when Frenchies are speaking Sanskrit, they will always say r at the end for visarga. And you could hear that voiced h. Well, there was the whole development over thousands of years. Of course, sounds took historical grammar is to be studied, and why we have in India until now they're disputing Ru and Ri, how to pronounce Rig Veda or Rugveda, Krishna or Krushna. Yeah, so Taitiriya, which belongs to the Maharashtrian region, has developed Ri as the cerebral sound. Yeah, so a, e, ri, li, u, what we speak today. This is the order of today, Taitiriya. But Rig Veda had a, ri, e, li, u. Ri was back tongue. So in a way, that's why if you pronounce ri, then after r, next one is palatal e. That's why it sounds like ri. Yeah? But if you take r sound as a cerebral, then the next is only u, ru. So in one go, when you go from here out, it's always one way only, from here out. So then from r, e is natural next, but from r is already beyond the next. So ru is the next one. So that's how it became a Ri and Ru, because of that positioning of vowel Ri. But it is neither Ri nor Ru. It is R or R. And this is vowel sound. Quite interesting. Even L. It is not Lru, because Lru they say in India today because they read L and the Ri together. So they think Lri, this is the sound. No, it is L sound, which is, we have it in Czech language, Vlk. Yeah, Vlk, three consonants, where L is vowel. So there was a L vowel, clip, yeah, kalpate, clipti, sanclipti, because vowel, characteristic of vowel, there is no stop, yeah. I, and consonants are stops, sprishtas, yeah. K, ch. You cannot pronounce it without one dot stop. Aurobindo beautifully describes this, yeah, to combine the infinity of the vowels with finality of the consonants in Savitri. Finality of the consonants to combined with infinity of the vowels. That's exactly what. So k, g. G is already voiced. If k is possession, then g is already kind of contact. Um, Motion, gum, go, gachati, yes, action. And there are many actions, very interesting. Like if you take gri sound, gri original and gri later, is to speak, also uh, to gobble, to swallow, because gl is actually something to do with kantha. And you have a glossa form here, language. It's quite interesting. The word language has two elements. L is the tongue and g is the voice. So leg, yeah? So, and that is language. In a way that gri is from here, gear, voice, yeah? From here also to vomit or to cast sound, gri. It's quite interesting, yes. And so it's all connected to this gri, that action here in the throat. And if you take not gri as to articulate sounds, to speak, to voice them, but gi, gai, with e already, then it would be already singing, yeah? Not kind of crushing with the voice, not speaking, but singing, sliding with vowels, gai, gayati, kind of interesting, Gita. And gha is the same, only violent contact, hostile action. Ghan, ghatayati. We have causative from han. I think maybe originally it was ghan root, yeah, to strike, to beat, to hit, to kill. There are not many roots with gha. Huh? There are many extensions of roots with gha, but not starting with gha. So we can take it as the variation of ga with more violent action, because ha is there. Gha. It is not gha. It is not that h friction. It is this ha, gha, because it's voiced concept. How do you pronounce voiced? Gha?
Gha,
Kha? Huh?
gha, gha,
Uh-huh. Because I think that originally should be gha, ha, ha, like this.
gha,
Gha, gha,
gha,
gha, gha, gha, bha, not bha.
gha.
Some people say bha. It's not bha. It's bha rather.
Huh.
Uh-huh. I think, but
You also have it's very interesting in the Indonesian part, you have the Bahasa. They can no longer do the Bha, they will do
yeah,
Baha.
many people
So,
can't do bha at all.
no,
As English people, I have English Americans
yeah,
learning Sanskrit with me. They only bach. Bach instead of Bah, for because B, to connect B touched with her breath from the chest, it seems quite a task for the being. These articulations of sounds is actually a big issue for many people. They are not trained to do this from their childhood, especially Americans who speak more American language, then everything becomes very tiny, very sophisticated here somewhere. And French, they do something else. They will have a different position, and then that's very difficult for them to shift. I'm kind of making fun a bit, but it's not. It's really very true. It's a position within the mouth which we take, which shifts us away from the full capacity to articulate sounds. And here we have also, Russian. Russian will be speaking these ways. There will be another position very weird. So every time we shift from language to language, we feel this shift. We are like plugging into some cloud of some kind of manner. It's a manner to articulate sound, is it not? You could feel it, yeah, immediately. Even in India, you take different people from Bengal, from Gujarat, from Tamil Nadu, immediately you will have very different kind of perception of. So everyone has a particular way of articulating sounds. Although Indians are much closer because it's Indo-Aryan languages built on Sanskrit ground, so it's closer to Sanskrit. So this is the first Varga, the most general absolute existence. But when we move to Cha Varga is already E, that differentiated, narrowed, relative state of existence, intense state of existence, being narrowed, forceful, insistent, tending to a goal, seeking to occupy space. So the whole Varga, Cha, is palatal, E, chi, chi, ji, ji, ni, yi, shi, all the palatals. So tongue is pressing to the hard palate. So we will see cha already swift and brilliant action. Notice there's some chandra in it. Yeah, there is some silver light in it, some brilliance. There's some sparkling. Uh, Weird, but we know about it. Intuitively, we know about it. If we start analyzing what it means for us, these are the intuitions of Sri Aurobindo. These are his definitions. Yeah? Then cha is the same like cha, only with a greater lightness. And then ja is restless, brilliant but restless, decisive action. That from here we have all this Jan to generate, or G to conquer. Conquer means to break through the resistance and to occupy, to populate through, so to say, piercing through and populating. And ja, there are no roots from ja, but there are many extensions, many imitation sounds, because the language is a very interesting thing. It is between two different varieties of roots. One variety is our articulatory devices, where we articulate and perceive them as such, as meaningful psychological states, and other is imitation of outer sounds. We can call it knock knock language. Yeah? If I hear something tock tock, I call it knock knock. I take it into the language. And many roots are in between. They find their position in between, such as like krish, karshati, or English crush. So crush is partially here and partially imitation of the outer sounds. Is it not so? When crush is happening, the crushing sound is taking place. No? And then you take this crush and take klesha or clash. English clash is already not to crush, breaking through, but to clash, like to collide. Yeah, Lu is already softer, so it doesn't break through. It is kind of gliding over on the top. So the same klesha. So crush, karshati, and kleshati, totally different, so to say, sounds. There is no kleshati, it's just klesha. So I'm just giving you the sounds which are coming from both origins, from the inner articulation and from the outer imitation of the reality. So if you take this cha cha ja jana chi chi ji ji ni yi shi varga, I will add ib to it because it's pure palatal sounds. So chi will be to collect, to gather into one point, to focus, to notice, chinoti, chinute, chiketa, yeah, these roots. From root chi, from a chit consciousness as the power to notice or to hold on to one point, one pointedness. And G is also like piercing, and root E is itself is to move, yeah, to go, to means to distinguish some shift or movement or motion within something which is not moving. We spoke about this before. Chi, also interesting, the same as chi, but with more chid, chinna, all this, yeah? Chedayati, to separate, to cut. Because with extension do. We don't even speak about roots with extension. We have to speak about them separately because they add a particular sense to it. Then tavarga. Tavarga doesn't have much of the roots. None of these roots are available starting from ta, da, da, but they are used in many extensions. And they have this hardness. You can feel immediately ta is hard, force, crudity of some rajasic, katu, the bitter. You will immediately feel that tu is needed. It's very rajasic, very sharp, or hard rather than sharp. Sharp because it's tavarga and r is there also. So you have the same ta with more force, yeah? And da is already dull because the voice is participating there. Voiced ta, which is very hard, becomes dullness, obstinacy, persistence, tamasic, rajaso-tamasic quality. Dha is obstinacy, is it's Sri Aurobindo's definition. So you could see that these are used for the extensions. We do not have words starting with them, so they are less important. And I must say that these sounds are less available in Vedic language, in Vedic Sanskrit. They are more and more become prominent in classical Sanskrit. You will not find many of these sounds in the Vedic Sanskrit. Vedic Sanskrit avoids these consonants for some reason. Then ta. Ta is a very used varga, the most used most probably. Ka and ta and pa, these three. Ta is dental, when the tongue touches the teeth. It's the most prominent varga in all languages, I think. Ta, touch. It's quite clear. Tongue touches the teeth, you have it. You have a touch. The idea of touch is immediately imprinted in our consciousness. Impact. Lighter than ta. Ta is touch with continuation, as it were. And we can see it in the root sta. Yeah? St and then ha. Sta is as if kind of staying, stopping. Yeah? Then da is hard, forcible impact or action because it's voiced already. So the difference between ta and da is that the vocal cords are participating already before the touch. So it creates this hard, forcible impact or action. And through da is well known, da to cut or da to give. Yeah, and Panini disputes this da to give and to impart or to separate, to cut. He says that it is the same root. Yeah? Why it is the same root? Because giving can be only taking part of oneself and giving forward away. That is giving. If I give something which is not mine, it's not giving. Yeah? It's just combining, kind of creating transaction of some kind. But giving has to be part of yourself, which you separate from you and give it to somebody else. That's why receiving the gift, dana, is very tricky. Yeah, you should be very careful what you receive, what gift you receive from whom, because it is the part of his consciousness, of his energy. So you introduce it into yourself, and then you will be obliged to be something else which you don't want to be. Yeah? That's why so many precautions how to receive the gift, how to give the gift, whom to give, Also very important, because I give the gift part of myself to someone who will abuse my gift. That means he will abuse my energy. This is the big issue in traditional cultures. And from here, dakshina, the right hand, you have to give with the right hand, not with the left. Why? Because it's all very sophisticated mystic ritualism. And it makes sense totally. We have a very funny anecdote in Russian about, in Ukrainian, in about Ivan giving his present to his friend, and when he gave the present the boots, he presented to him the boots. And every time he met his friend, he asked, how are boots? Are they good? They are not kind of creating problems, no? They're fitting well. So every time they met, I was asking about the boots. This is very typical for giving, it's really funny. So one day that friend took off the boots when he asked and threw the boots into him. Take away your boots. Because there is no life. He has no life with his boots. So it becomes the life of his friend. It's funny because it is exactly very well captured, this idea of giving. Dha is the same as da, but softer and stronger impact. And here we have dha, to establish. Da is to give away, and dha is to give away and establish it, to make it work. From here, dha, di, du, diri, these words, roots. We have da, di, du, dri, also interesting. Dri is to tear, yeah. Du is to shake off. Di is to be given, or to shine. Even da is to separate. But if we take dha is to establish, dhi is to fix consciousness upon the dhimahi. Yeah? Dhu is to shake, and dhri is to hold. And all of these have, you see, ai, uri, li shifts in the meaning, but dha, that impact, the first strong impact in position, holding, dha meaning, is still there. Now the na is a gentle but effective relation. It's quite interesting. Na, we have the particle which is prohibitive particle, yes, na. Nagachati, nadadati, naichati. So not in everywhere, in all Indo-European languages, somehow it is na, not. And why Sri Aurobindo says na, gentle and effective relations? It's a very subtle, very intuitive definition. You have other words like nand, ananda, yes, and nind. Nind is to despise, nand is to rejoice, to be glad of. And so you see that n has something, nam, to bow down, nad, to sound, yeah, and so on. Nu, to push or to praise. Um, uh, Ni, to lead. Yeah? And you will start sensing that affective relation. If I take na as a particle of negation, its negation also in Sanskrit is a very interesting story, has a story that it's not only negating into the negative side, it can be negating into the positive side. And for example, Sri Krishna calls himself in the Gita Anuttama. Anuttama. He is not Uttama. He is not the highest. That means he is higher than the highest, not lower than the highest. So negation doesn't have only the meaning of negating in one way. Yeah? It tells us that it is relative. It tells us that there is something else beyond that. Yeah? And that is what negation does. It's quite interesting. We think about it in negative terms. We don't really see that relational aspect, yeah, which it does. And by the way, in Vedic language, we have na as a comparative particle, as eva in classical Sanskrit. Yeah, you can say suvarnam na bhati saha. He is shining not like the gold. What does it mean? Not like gold. It means like the gold. So in here we have that not like the gold, more than the gold. That's what it wants to say, comparing with the gold. And this comparison is in these gentle and effective relations. It's a
It
very,
sounds very similar. Sorry to interrupt. It sounds
yeah,
very similar to one of the theories of perception, where anupalabdhi is also a way to perceive when things are not there. That is also
absolutely.
a way to perceive. So I find it very similar to the theories of perception, which is taught in epistemology.
Very nice, Anupalabdhi here. Very excellent example. That or abhava, yeah, the absence of bhava. Absence of bhava is bhava, or asat for that matter. Asat is the state in which sat is not actualized. So, but it is still a state of being. Mhm.
In
Very
fact,
nice.
there is a slok also in Bhagavad Gita, where everything is put with a negative sense, like amanitvam, adambhitvam, ahimsa. It's like, everything they are putting, starting with a negative, this thing, but the meaning is highly positive. So amanitvam is like, where your
Yeah.
eyes is not, adambhitam, where your ego is not involved. So beautifully, though it starts with a negative, but the meaning comes out with the most positive thing that can be interpreted.
Absolutely, absolutely. We are in the state, by the way, I'm just preparing the article on Savitri, where the Lord of Death debates with love. It's actually this topic. This is a big topic on negation. What is negation and what negation is doing, and why we perceive everything positive in negative terms. Neti, neti, why we do neti, neti. This is exactly that issue. Because we want to remove all that which is approximately blocking away from the truth. So we kind of clear up the way, and then the truth shines through. That's so the Lord of Death knows only this neti neti way, and he tries to convince uh, Savitri not to insist on this particular manifestation of the divine in time and space, because it's impossible. The divine supreme is only one, only there, only one true. There's nothing true here. From here the whole idea of maya, illusion, advaita, because how can this be true if we know what truth is? Truth is always true. So
It's
so
very
this is
very close.
the kind of negative perception of the divinity here, or the positive um, being here. But she insists on as Aurobindo says, only the everlasting no, no, capital N, has neared and stared into thy eyes and killed thy heart. But where is the lover's everlasting yes? Capital Y. Where is the lover's everlasting yes? That affirmation of the divinity in everything. We didn't grow yet to that level. And that's the problem of negation. By the way, negation is, you're absolutely right. If you take asatyam or any, we spoke about asatyam. Asatyam is untrue, but what implies in Sanskrit language is that the truth is behind. So why there is no falsehood, why there is no lie in Sanskrit? There is no word for lie. There is asatyam anritam, because there is no lie. There is a misplacement of the truth in a way.
There is asatyam, there is tuchya, but there is no lie. Means
Yeah.
there is non-existence, there is partial existence, but there is nothing called as no. Means like complete negation.
Yeah, there
So
is
so
no
they say
lie
that
in
in
it, like a negative term there. Yeah. Of course, there is mithya, vanity, but vanity
uh,
is very different.
exactly
Yeah, it tells us something else.
true.
And there is vidya and avidya. Why there is no some kind of, you got no special word for, there is no special word for ignorance. There is avidya.
Exactly.
So there is always telling us that the vidya is not present. Sorry, it's not yet here. So that means exactly how Sanskrit operates. It operates on the ground of the positive terms. This is a very good philosophical discussion, how Sanskrit operates. It does not create negative terminology
In
positively.
fact, yeah, in fact, in Advait, even to define God, when it is said, what is God, they answer it in a beautiful way. What is not God? The
Right.
answer is what is not God. It's a negative thing with the immense positivity within, hidden within. What is not God? Means like there is nothing outside God. Uh, it's like, so beautiful it is. Huh? They are using the word what is not, but in a positive sense, that there is nothing outside God. Ishavasya Upanishad, it starts with idam sarvam yat kincham jagatam jagat. So it's like, everything is the divine manifestation. You can't, go out of this circle or out of this world of God. So using a negative connotation, they convey the highest positive message.
Yeah.
Shunyata in Buddhism.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. And the whole Sanskrit operates on this ground. There is always implied, there is always presupposed the positive meaning. Yeah? And we are dealing with these negations. They are negations pointing to the positive meaning, saying that it is absent. Look, asatyam. Satyam is not actual now. It's not here. So bring it here. That means that. And doesn't mean that the lie is here. So that's the kind of psychological part of it. This is beautiful. And Advaita also operates on that ground. Hmm. Yeah, and we pa varga is pu surface. I will finish the whole thing. So touch. Like we have this pu pa, pu bu bu hu mu wu fu, the whole varga. So to say, you could see that purity is the same. Something beyond the surface, because pu is already enclosing us, and something which is going like parayati, pra forward, para to the other shore, para brahman, the transcendental, to come to another shore, to cross over the wall. This is like the wall. Fullness is here within, but when you spill out and from here pullati, you can see this flowering, or spota, spura, spurata. You will see all these meanings all kind of opening like petals, or disclosing, breaking through, going beyond. Purna, full. uh, and B doesn't have many meanings, many, like balam, of course, force, very strong, powerful, bulky uh, sound. But ba in Sanskrit took the place of ba, and kind of, and Aurobindo says, same like ba, but with a sense of containing. And you would see that ba is to appear, bhi is to shrink, bhu is to extend, to become, bhri is to bear. So you will see there's a very powerful set of roots. And ma is an important sound. It has something to do with limitations, with forming the form, because it's nasal sound, lips. It's like p, pavarga, but going through the nasal pavarga. It encloses and holds the form. So you could feel the limitation in it, and finality in it, and completion of some kind. You take this m everywhere in whatever form, like ma, to measure, to create the form from here, matri, mother, yeah, in all the languages, Indo-European languages. Nobody knows why mother is the mother, by the way, in English or any other in Russian. They are wondering what is the root of the mother. Only in Sanskrit we see that ma, tri is the suffix of dua and ma is the root, which means to create a form, to shape. She is the creatrix of the form, of this particular finality, of completion. And from here, Maya is the same. She is a creatrix of the forms. In the Vedas, she is the creatrix. Yeah, she manifests the worlds. And then mi is the same to measure, but to diminish. Mu is interesting root to measure and bind, to collect, to connect, like u is in the space, and mri is to die, to break through, or ri, to mri is to die, to change the form, to break through the form, to break through the limitation, to change the limitation, to become unlimited. And it's quite interesting because there are other roots like marut, mara. It's also from root mari. And marut, we never thought that why marut is this, because marut is actually full of energy which can break through the limitations. In Russian, it will be молодой, mal. Mal means small or very young, full of energy. I think this is the same idea of Marie. And then, well, there are more, of course. I'm just scratching the surface, giving you the food for thought. You just want to go through the whole system. Then Yara Lava, they are built from the vowels. And these are the direct replicas or representatives of the vowel meanings. E-relative existence, as Aurobindo puts it. And that relative existence has something to do with the relation. Yeah? So you could see that all relative pronouns, yada, yatha, yatra, tatra, yes, yat, tat, yach, 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 yau, yam, ye, yam, yau, yan, yena, yab, yam, yaihi. You put all the relative pronouns would be having ya at the beginning because it relates the being. Ra is vibration. And ya is the root to go, the same as the root e to go. They are not different. They are just semi-vowels. Ra is the same vibration or play. From here there are many like ram, ramate, yes, to enjoy. It's kind of to love, but it means to playful vibration or joyful vibration. There are more with Ra roots. La is the same as Ra, but it is already soft and it is love. It's that vibration, excitement, play, but already kind of gliding and sliding, sweetness, relation. From here, lub, lab, that rub becomes lab and lub, lubiati. From here, love, the same. And love in the animal kingdom is always sliding, gliding, you're always caressing. This is love. Leaking, animals, kittens are always leaked by the mother. Leaking itself is in the body is that kind of loving sense of, sliding, gliding, accepting. Va, manifest existence. Very interesting definition, very intuitive. And I can understand why, because U is this pervasiveness and holding this space. So everything which is manifested in space is that Va. And if we take roots like Vad, Vach, Vad, to speak, to vibrate in space, Vach the same, Vach, to carry, to blow, to flow, Vahati, yeah? Or Vasati. Vasati is to shine from Vasti, and Vasati is to dwell, dwell again, to occupy the space and to shine and to wear the garment as Ishavasyam idam sarvam. All this is to be inhabited by the Lord. All this is to be inhabited, or to be worn as a garment, or to be shining with his presence. All three can be translated. All this is to be shining with his presence. All this is to be worn as a garment by the Lord, or all this is to be inhabited by the Lord. It's incredible. Yeah. So Vas incorporates all three within one root. Then we have fricatives, sha, sha, sa, and ha. Sha, yes, vehemence in union. Sham no mitra, sham varuna. The sham had something to do with energetic coming together and joining the life force. And then from here, Sham Shanti, and Sri Aurobindo speaks on Shanti, that peace is not that tamasic falling asleep. It is not peace as we understand them. It's a very bright state of consciousness, yeah? A very bright, very awakened state. Sha, we don't have many words with sha starting, but for extensions are there. Strong action in rest. Can't comment on it because there are no roots. Sa, repose and union. And here we can speak a lot. There are many roots with sa, many even upasargas like sam gachadvam, yeah, some together. Samvadadvam, speak together. Samvo manansi janatam, may your minds be together. Agree together. Come together, agree together. The sa has something to do, and some, notice, mu is modulation of form, finality, completion. So if I put some, and then it would have the completion of union. How beautiful it is. And ha is the fourth. Ha, this ha, not ha. Ha, 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 ha. Yeah. And of course, there are some roots with ha, han, too. I think it was ghan more than han. Who to call, havayati, hve, yeah, hotar from here. He noti, hinute, to abandon, and jahati, to leave behind. It's a very forceful, and there are many extensions with this power. Aham. Interesting word also. We have root ag, ahi, the snake, and we have also aghas as the sin. In the Vedic ahas, amhas is the narrowness or darkness, sin, and ahi, the snake, which is pressing down. Yeah, there's a force in the ahi. The snake is the symbol of force and power. Mother speaks about it. Anyhow, this is basically the first kind of picture, the entry into the symbols of the sounds. And then all your life you will be just thinking about it and finding new and new meanings and confirmations. Okay, I stop here. That's basically the presentation of 10 meetings, sessions we had together. So I conclude here. So I open for your questions, observations, whatever you want to ask, say, please go ahead. We have 10 minutes. Yes, please.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
I have a question. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. This question is, I was, as you were talking about Ta Varga and its forceful use of the word, of the syllable. I have observed that in Rajasthan, a number of words which are na. And what I have observed is I am Hindi, coming from Hindi background, and in many poems where there is Veera Rasa shown, there is Tavarga letters are used to a great extent.
Yes.
That shows like a person is going and fighting, and in that enthusiasm, in that Veera, this happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Rajasic
so
quality. Yes, very nice, very
correct,
nice. Very
correct,
great
correct.
observation. Yeah.
Yeah, and one more question, and this is you were talking about sir. What I saw is that we have a number of names beginning from sir, from yes, especially for women, for girls. So this is one more observation that I made. Is there any connection in the syllables and the whatever the nature of girls, or the being a woman or anything? This is what I am making an observation, and putting this forth, so that we can think about it. Um, yes.
Yeah, most probably there is this kind of unity and uniting, building family. The woman is always that, in the harmonizer of all the forces which are so dispersed in the family. In a way, yes. Well, if you take roots like sun or sa, sati is gaining, sun is to gain, but si is to separate from here, siman, this, sima. Or Sita. Sita was born in the crack of the earth, as you remember. So that crack, actually, when the kings have to plow you know, when they begin the season. So on that crack Sita appeared. It was he adopted her actually, but she is the daughter of the earth, yeah, of Prithvi. She went back, as we know, to her mother uh, at the end. But so you will see that there is no one significance. There is a general, when it depends on the vowel, what it will do, what vowel is doing. Yeah? A vowel adds very powerful shift. Yeah.
Okay.
So as
Okay.
we compared already, bha, bhi, bhu, bhri, I can compare again. You could see how vowels shape different meanings from with the same consonant. Yeah. So the same with sa, si, su, sri. If you take these roots, simple roots, yeah, so you will immediately see that si is to separate, because E is always narrowing down. Sun is to gain, and there is no separation. There is kind of, yes, coming together. Whereas Su is to produce, to bring to birth, to distill, to press out. Yeah, to occupy that space. And Sri is to flow. It's like Sarasvati. Yes, Sri is the flow. Amazing. Just all the meanings are here together with S. C is maintained, but vowels add to it this significance. I know I'm not answering your question, but most
No,
probably,
I'm getting some idea with it, about it.
sure, sure.
But what you were talking throughout from the beginning, what I heard is each ka varga, ta varga, each of those letters have some significance. This is what I was coming to understand, and that is how it came to my mind, whether ta varga has anything to do with Veera Rasa, or being very hard, or people from Rajasthan who have most of the time fought with the enemies, and their language, according to their nature, who are much tough, and who are very vibrant, and therefore this got Tatadadhana has got any relation to that, and also this another observation about Sir.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, yes, please, Radha.
You spoke about root, like for example, root lakar. So how do you pronounce that with that thing down? Is it root or it is root?
It is simply vowel, which is dental vowel. Let us imagine we have 5 vowels. We have A, then we have E, yes? Then we have vowel on the level of the cerebrals, which is R. Before it was R. Now it is R, cerebral vowel. And then we have dental vowel. Can you make dental vowel? They are called... I think they are called Ishatsprishta or Ardhasprishta, Ishatsprishta. They are Ishatsprishta. So they are slightly touched. They are not completely touched, but slightly. And slightly touched dental vowel. What would you do? Dental means tongue has to touch the teeth, and that has to be a vowel. Oh, this is what I do. Yeah, I do by prescription. I'm not following now the writing. Writing is much later, and there is no lru, definitely. That's much I can say. And there are not many words with this vowel. There are hardly any. Only clip one root. Clip T.
So then how should we pronounce root lakar, the Bhavishyat Kal? How should we pronounce that letter?
Usually they say li, like ri, li in the north, or ru, lru in the Maharashtrian region. It depends. You can keep it as it is, but you have to know that what it is. Yeah.
Okay. And what about the letter r? Is it there in Sanskrit?
You mean tamer?
Yes, Tamil.
This arrow. Yes, it is there in Vedic Sanskrit. It is in de tatadadhana, this in the intervocal position. If I take de into intervocal ide, and it will be ide. Yeah, so it is kind of dropping its touch into more sliding l. Yeah, that tamer. They say even j. Interestingly, it sounds like j rather than r. Yeah, these are the allophones.
Yeah, in Marathi also we have that r.
Yes, yes, you have in Marathi. Yes.
And then we even have this j and z. We have z.
Yeah, the Jew with dot. Yeah, but that is.
Z and ch and z. For chamach we say chamacha. We say like that. So.
Yeah, the Marathi is a bit different, right? It has these few sounds. Yes, very interesting. Yes.
Yes.
And you also say chapati, right?
Yeah, chapati. Say chapati, correct.
Yeah.
Chapati. It is ts in Sanskrit. Yes, t and ts. We have in Russian also ts and Ukrainian ts as a separate letter, but it is combined letter, ts. That's why Sanskrit doesn't bother about it. And yes, about z, it is actually coming from other regions like J with dot, which you have in Hindi, zaruri hai. That z is coming from other languages where there are voiced fricatives, which we don't have in Sanskrit. We don't have in Sanskrit only one particular articulation. It is voiced sibilants. Raja, raza, va. These sounds we don't have.
Khazafa. Zaruri.
Yes.
Z. We can have z and j, z and ch, z and ch, f and h. That is also there. F and h.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yes, yes, please.
Extremely grateful to you, sir. You have nicely brought out how the Bach came, that is the speech part, how it got translated to Lipi, and the correlation between these two for understanding each and every part of the Bach as well as Lipi. With good examples and all that thing, you have shown us the way we can thereafter continue with Swadhyaya to the extent possible.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your appreciation, and I'm very glad that we met. And thank you for Anuradha. Anuradha arranged all this, but she is always busy. It is her professor work of professor. She has to do some other things always. So she leaves us in between. She guides us in, and then she disappears somewhere to do something else.
We are totally indebted to Anuradha.
Yes, yes.
She has,
So
with full earnest, told us whatever is possible, whatever she could give.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
has translated everything to us.
Yes, it is because of her request that we did this course and yes, we met to discuss these issues and to look into
You are
some.
magnanimous enough to part with your knowledge, and we have enriched ourselves. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your appreciation. Yes, it is Sri Aurobindo's knowledge which we all kind of benefit from. We all grow from his insights and he gives us the keys and we have to apply them and see how it works. And that's what I do. And I'm very, very benefiting from this work and kind of offer it to others to do the same, to have their own kind of search for the truth. Thank you, everyone, and all the best. So see you then. Bye.
Thank you. See you.
So,
Bye.
thanks.